Hi crafters, I'm Bernadette and I have a question for you. Have you ever stopped to wonder where your card finally ends up once it's made it into the hands of the person that you've actually made it for? So here's what I mean by that. I have a family member who, in her creative space, she has a bulletin board like this, and I know that my cards will end up there along with other pieces of inspiration. In that situation, with one flat plane, a simple traditional folded card is great, but then so are cards like this, just plain old tags which can stand alone on their own. Contrast this situation with something else, with the situation of another relative of mine who likes to display her cards at work in her traditional workstation where she has a shelf. So in that case, a card that's got some architectural elements to it, that's three-dimensional or stands on its own, like this shutter card or this stand-up tag card, that's a great card to make and send to her in that situation. That's the kind of card we're going to make today. It is a traditional diamond fold card. Stands up great for great display, super simple. And we're also going to use the Straight from the Nest cartridge for the inspiration for all our cuts. So let's get started. First you're going to start out with a simple piece of cardstock. It is 4 inches by 12 inches. You're going to have a front side and a reverse side. And on the reverse side, I'm not sure if this will show up on camera here, but you want to make a line right down the middle at 6 inches. Really simple to do, just with your pencil. Line that up, draw that on down so we have a center mark. From there, and I don't bother using my Score Pal and the score lines for it, I find it's just easier to go ahead and fold. We're going to fold each of the sides in. And just like when you do any other origami or anything, taking your time to get really nice crisp folds is a really great idea. So that everything squares up, so that our diamond or the square in the center is really nice. So with my center mark here, which is a really light pencil line, which I will erase later, I've been able to fold one side over and the other side. Looks like the beginning of a paper airplane. Then I'm going to turn it over or around to the other direction and just repeat that. From there, I'm going to unfold it. You'll see your center diamond is formed and there will be 2 X's. Hope this shows up on the camera, but if not, that's okay. I'm going to turn this over so it's my right side forward, and I'm going to take an edge and just fold it in to that center part where those 2 other fold lines cross. Then just simply turn it over once more and fold back towards your center line. And there you have it. There's all your folds. Here's the fun part. When you use a 12 by 4 card, you roughly get a 4 by 4 square, which will be flat, and you can mail perfectly for that. Now, one thing on this cardstock, I'm using not particularly thick cardstock. I'm sorry, I don't know the paper weights, but it is from K & Company, their Modern Eco line. Now it has folded and given me some white in between there. Now for the look that I'm going for, which is sort of a distress where I've used my sanding block, we'll go over that in a moment, this is okay with me. I have made this with other forms of cardstock that don't have a white core and you won't see that. But this is a relatively thin piece of paper. Once we have our fold here, we can start decorating. I'm going to start with the side panels. And as this is 4 inches here, we have 2 by 4 inches. So I chose to cut out the slider paisley shape. It's the very last page of the book on page 77. And I also cut out on the shift key the little paisley flower to put into that. It looks like this. Went ahead and embellished it up. This is my slider. I also ran it through my, with the ColorBox Swiss Dots embossing folder, I ran it through my embossing texture boutique, and I cut out the flower, and I've inked them, and I've distressed it. I use vintage photo to ink around all my corners and my edges, and I also sandpapered everything too. That gave me sort of a vintage look. I also used on the blue cardstock some ColorBox Frost White, just to kind of give it a little bit of a dusty color. Now these background papers that I'm using here, it's from Graphic 45, the Domestic Goddess. Just got that. I'm so excited to be able to use that. So let me go ahead and put this together for you. I cut the paper at, if this is 2x4, I just cut it 1/8 of an inch smaller. And the paisley cut for the slider, I cut at 1 3/4 inches, as well as the insert flower right here for 1 3/4 inches, and it fit wonderfully. I just used the back side of this coordinating paper to go ahead and make the ribbon, and put a couple of brads in there to make the ribbon for the slider. Last but not least, the center diamond or square. This factors out to be, let's see, just about 2 7/8. It's a little less than 3, so 2 7/8 square. And then last but not least, on page 70 in the handbook, I liked the word grow. This is just a simple inspirational card. I went ahead and cut that out at, again, 1 3/4 inches. And then I went ahead and cut the shadow, which is actually for the entire phrase, but I just trimmed it as necessary. And there you have it. Really super simple, easy to make card that can stand up on its own and will look great standing up on a shelf or on display. Thanks for watching.